In December of 1872, an American merchant ship was spotted drifting aimlessly in the Atlantic. Its sails flapped in the wind, the deck creaked under the waves, but there was no answer to the calls of the boarding crew. What they found would go down as one of the greatest maritime mysteries of all time. This was the Mary Celeste. A ship without a crew, a ghost ship. The Mary Celeste began her final voyage from New York on November 7, 1872. She carried over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, bound for Genoa, Italy. At her helm was Captain Benjamin Briggs, a respected and devout man. His wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, joined him on the voyage. Alongside them were 7 experienced sailors, men who knew the sea well. It should have been a routine crossing of the Atlantic. But within weeks, the ship and her people would vanish into legend. On December 4th, the British ship Dei Gratia spotted the Mary Celeste adrift near the Azores Islands. From a distance she looked intact, her sails set, her course steady, but as the boarding party climbed aboard, an eerie silence enveloped them. The captain's quarters were neat, the crew's belongings were untouched, the cargo was still in place, meals sat abandoned on the tables. The lifeboat, however, was missing. The last entry in the ship's logbook was dated 10 days earlier. Since then, nothing. Why would an experienced captain and his crew abandon a seaworthy ship? The first theory was mutiny. Perhaps the sailors had turned against Captain Briggs. But there were no signs of violence, no struggle, no stolen goods. Everything remained just as it was. Others suggested piracy, yet nothing of value was taken. The barrels of alcohol, worth a fortune, were untouched. A third theory blamed nature itself. A waterspout or seaquake could have rocked the vessel, convincing the captain that the ship was doomed. In a panic, he may have ordered everyone into the lifeboat, but the most widely accepted explanation involves the cargo. 9 barrels were discovered empty. If alcohol fumes leaked into the hold, Briggs may have feared an explosion. To protect his family and crew, he could have ordered a temporary evacuation into the lifeboat, intending to return once the danger passed. But if the lifeboat's towline snapped, the Mary Celeste would have sailed on alone, leaving its passengers stranded at sea. Not all explanations were so rational. Some whispered of sea monsters rising from the depths. Others claimed the ship was cursed, its crew stolen by ghosts or even vanishing into another realm. Over time, the Mary Celeste became part of nautical folklore, a story sailors told in hushed voices across taverns and docks. The ship was towed to Gibraltar, where an official inquiry was held. Yet even after testimony and inspections, no one could determine why the Mary Celeste had been abandoned. The ship itself returned to service, but its reputation was forever stained. Few sailors wished to serve on what they called a cursed vessel. Eventually, in 1885, her final owners deliberately ran her aground in a failed attempt at insurance fraud. The Mary Celeste was gone, but her mystery had only just begun. Why would Captain Briggs, his wife, their child, and 7 skilled sailors board a lifeboat, leaving behind a seaworthy ship in the middle of the ocean? Was it fear? A tragic mistake? Or something stranger that we will never understand? More than a century and a half later, the Mary Celeste remains one of history's most haunting mysteries. A ghost ship drifting endlessly in our imagination, just as it once did on the open seas.